You're listening to the Touch 'em Up podcast. I'm your host, Double M, and on today's episode, we have the 10th installment of the Double Trouble Breakdown, as we break down the number 4 ranked bantamweight contender in the UFC, No Mercy, Petr Yan. So without any further ado, let's get this started and step into the ring. All right, guys, how's everybody doing tonight? Back on with the podcast. We've taken about a week break. Wasn't intended to take a break this long, but, I had some stuff I had to get done, and there was just some stuff going on, so I had to, take a little bit of a break. Most likely, we're going to have one podcast today and one tomorrow, just based solely on the fact that this is coming out late. It's Saturday. We post on Monday, Friday. This is the first one of the week, and it's just how it had to be. But I figured this is going to be the most in-depth breakdown that we've done on the podcast so far. Just the amount of stuff that Petr Yan does, and for those of you guys who don't know, Petr Yan, I said he's actually ranked 4th. I believe he's ranked 3 now in the UFC's bantamweight division, which is 135 pounds. He is 6-0 in the UFC with wins over Teruto Ishihara, Jinso Son, John Dotson, Jimmy Rivera, Urijah Faber just recently at UFC 245. And then also one more guy. Who am I forgetting? There's one more guy in here. Oh, Douglas Silva de Andrade. So he's beaten a lot of good guys. Jimmy Rivera, John Dotson, and Urijah Faber are the top guys that he's beaten. But he trains out of Tiger Muay Thai. He's from Siberia in Russia, I believe. And the guy is just one of the best strikers in the UFC, to be honest. I believe that he is probably one in the top 3 or 4 strikers in the UFC. He could be number 1 just because of how many different things he uses to control the range, to switch angles, to cut angles, to, dominate with the weak side of the opponent, switch stances effortlessly, and mix up combinations, switch stances mid-combo. I might actually title this breakdown the Lomachenko of MMA. For you guys who don't know, Vasyl Lomachenko is a professional boxer. He's not undefeated. I believe he's 12-1 or 11-1, something like that. But he's considered by many to be the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, just because of how effortlessly he uses his footwork. He dances around the opponent. He can mix up his combinations and his strikes and move side to side, switch angles, turn around the opponent. He kind of I like to call his movement like a music box. He kind of just peppers you, bop, and then he cuts off to the side, cuts the angle off to the other side, bop, 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 turns, gets to the weak side, will literally turn you in a circle as he's hitting you with combinations and using his footwork to cut you off and get the outside dominant angle. So yeah, that's basically what No Mercy Petr Yan does. And we're going to start it off with his fight versus Ishihara. And for you guys who haven't listened to the Double Trouble breakdowns yet, these are round by round breakdowns. Obviously, it's not going to be every exchange in the fight, but just how Yan's style translated through his 6 fights in the UFC. What changed, what he did better, what his opponents were able to take advantage of, which there weren't very many things. But we're going to start it out with his first fight against Ishihara on June 23rd, 2018. So the first thing I have is Yan uses a relaxed pressure. So what I mean by this is when you want to pressure a fighter or put pressure on a person and push them back, you want to get in their face, push forward, immediately control the center of the octagon and just push them back. Because by you pushing them back, you're controlling where the fight's taking place. You're making the opponent uncomfortable while you're comfortable moving in. And you're cutting angles and switching off to sides and just pushing them back, pushing them forward. You're moving forward, you're pushing the opponent back. And one of the biggest things about Yan is he likes to do his best work by pushing the opponent up against the fence. If Yan is able to push you back and get you up against the fence, he does his best work. So like I said, it's a relaxed pressure. He's calm and calculated, and he pushes you back and controls the center. So at the beginning of the fight, Yan throws a left hook, which circles Ishihara into Yan's power right hand. Then he fires a right cross to the body. So he moves to his left and throws that left hook, and then he dips down, and the opponent usually is going to think that a left hook is going to follow with a straight right to the head. But Yan goes left hook to the head, right cross to the body. So he's already attacking at multiple levels in the fight. Right away, he's attacking multiple levels. You want to attack everything possible. You know, you have 8 limbs or 8 points of striking, not 8 limbs. That sounded kind of dumb. You've got 4 limbs, but 8 points of striking. You've got your 2 fists, both elbows, both knees, and both shins. And Yan likes to really just break down the opponent. He'll kick you in the body. He'll kick you in the leg. He'll punch you in the body. He'll punch you in the head. He'll take you down. He'll do a bunch of different stuff. So, like I said, he throws that left hook, which circles Ishihara into the power right of Yan, and then he fires that right cross to the body. Ishihara keeps trying to back up Yan with a left body kick. You know, it's southpaw versus orthodox. Yan comes out in orthodox stance usually, but as I said earlier, he can switch stances effortlessly. He'll move from orthodox to southpaw, southpaw to orthodox, and orthodox is also conventional. So if you hear me say conventional or orthodox, they're the same exact thing. It's when your power is in your right hand, your left foot's in front, right foot in back, your lead hand's your left, your power hand's your right, and all the power's going to come from the right. If you're a southpaw, it's reversed. So your power hand is your left hand, your right foot's in front, left foot's in back, power in the left, and you're going to throw your power from that side. So that's just a little, I break it down on every podcast because, you know, for casual fans, I don't really think they understand the intricacies of the striking game and just the footwork and the different stances. So we're going to cover that and keep moving on. So Ishihara, like I said, he's trying to back up Yan with the left kick to the body. Since it's a southpaw versus orthodox, the kick for the southpaw is going to land on the liver of the opponent because they're in a different stance. So they're going to land on the liver for the southpaw fighter. The southpaw fighter, when he kicks to the body, it's going to land on the opponent's right side, which is their liver. So that's the advantage of southpaw fighters versus orthodox or conventional. Ishihara shoots and gets a double leg takedown, but Yan immediately bucks his hips to the left and pushes down on Ishihara's head with his right arm, and then he cross faces him and uses it to get back up to his feet or get back to his base. So right away when you get taken down, they tell you to buck your hips side to side. It's called a shrimp. You know, if you train in mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu, it's called a shrimp crawl. At least that's what my trainers have said. So it's when you're on your back, you're going to push your butt towards one side. You're going to kick your legs and push back towards whatever side you push your butt towards. So whatever side you get up on the hip, you're going to push your butt back and back out and kick your feet. So that's what he does. Immediately when he lands the double leg takedown, Yan bucks his hips to the left, pushes down on Ishihara's head because, you know, when you control the head, wherever the head goes, the body follows. So you push down on the head with the right arm, you cross face him with the other arm, and then you're using it to get back up to your feet. So you're pushing down on the head with one side, you're cross facing, which is where you take like your forearm and you push it against the face of the opponent to get them uncomfortable and really to get more space in between you and them. So Yan immediately bucks his hips, pushes down on the head, controls with that cross face, and then gets up to his feet. And then we got to finish with this. So and then he gets up to his feet after the base. Yan gets up and immediately switches to southpaw. So this is what I'm talking about. He really gets the opponents, gets the reads in the first few minutes. First round, really, he's just trying to make reads and figure out the opponent. So when he gets up, he switches to southpaw. So now the attacks and the power are coming from the left side, which when before they were coming from the right side. So it's completely different. And the opponent's defense is going to be different because you're throwing from an opposite stance. Your power is now at the side that was your weak side before and vice versa. He switches to southpaw and then he goes back to conventional. So Ishihara is like, okay, now he's in southpaw, but then he moves forward and he switches to orthodox. So the opponent, Ishihara, in this case, is never really going to know where Yan is at in terms of which side his power is going to come from. Yan, it goes back on the pressure immediately as he gets up. He just pushes forward and he fakes the right hand and steps into southpaw, just seeing what Ishihara's reaction is. So he's in an orthodox stance. He throws that right hand, fakes it, steps into southpaw. Now the power's in the left hand, and the opponent would usually slip to the left to avoid the power in the right hand, so he would be moving into the power when he's in a southpaw stance. So Yan slaps Ishihara's right lead hand with a left hook and then fires the cross to the body. He did this earlier, like we said. Slap hook, cross to the body. He did it earlier. I think it was one of the first combinations we broke down. So he'll throw that lead hook kind of just as a thing to gauge you, to move you to his right. So he'll slap and you're going to move the other direction, and then he'll fire the cross to the body. You're usually going to think that the cross is going to come to the head, so you'll cover up to the head and you leave your body exposed. So slap hook, right cross to the body. As Yan pressures Ishihara, he throws a 2, which is a right cross in the conventional stance. Boom. And he uses that right hand to step forward into southpaw and then throw the left hand. So like I said, Yan likes to switch stances a lot. He's orthodox, southpaw, southpaw to orthodox, constantly switching stances to let you not know where he's going to be in relation to where you're at. And he uses this combination. Honestly, it's one of his biggest and most used combinations in every single one of his fights. So he moves forward and he throws the right hand. As he throws the power in the right hand, he steps forward. Now the power is going to come from the left. So he's going to throw that left hook, which would before be the weak side, is going to be the power now. So you're switching. So you 1, 2 step forward. Your power's in the left hand now, not the right. Your right's the lead hand. Boom, the left hook's going to come through and crack with a lot more power than it would have if you stayed in an orthodox stance. And it also gives you a better angle on the opponent. If you just move forward and throw a 1, 2, 3, it covers distance and you have power in it, but you're not cutting off and cutting an angle on your opponent as efficiently as you could. So when Yan goes 1, 2 step forward, get to the outside angle, usually on the outside of the lead foot to kind of trap the opponent against the fence, then throws that left. The power's in the left. The opponent's going to circle towards your left because he's trying to avoid the power in the right hand, and he's going to get hit with a power left. So it's just tricky stuff from Yan, and you'll see it more as we break down some more fights. Let's see. Yan always keeps the right hand up, or left hand, vice versa, when he's in southpaw. A lot of guys will put their rear hand up or their lead hand up to block and keep their defense up. But once they start throwing combinations, their hands are going to drop, or when they get tired, their hands are going to drop. Yan is so, seasoned and polished as a striker. He always has that rear hand up. You'll never see him drop that rear hand in a fight unless he's throwing it. And in that case, usually the lead hand is up to block. He's always either controlling your range with the lead hand, controlling you to keep you at arm's reach, keep you at a distance so he can throw his shots, and keep that right hand up so if you do decide to commit, he can block and defend properly. Another thing in the fight is Yan feints the left hook. Ishihara then circles away and moves back to his right into the left hook of Petr Yan. So he fakes the left hook, which means Ishihara is going to move to his right to get away from it. Boom, he'll throw the left hook, he moves away. Now, he's like, okay, he faked it. He's probably not going to throw the same punch. So he comes back and he throws the left hook again. So he faked it to see how Ishihara was going to react to it, and then he threw it. So bop, boom. It's like if you fake a jab and throw the left hook, or fake a jab and pop the jab right after you fake it. You're just getting the reaction of the opponent. So you're popping it, bop, boom, and then you bop and fake. So that's what he did. Fake the left hook, circles away. Then Ishihara moved back to the other side and he threw the left hook and got hit with a double left hook, actually. So it was fake the left hook, boom. And then Ishihara was like, okay, he's not going to throw it. I'm going to move back that way. Boom, boom, double left hook. So like I said, Yan is so smart. He knows how to break you down. He knows how to get you to move in a direction that you think is safe, but it's really where he wants you to go. Ishihara is always moving back, being pressured into the cage. Like I said earlier, Yan does his best work pushing you against the fence. He wants you to be pushed back against the fence so you feel crowded and uncomfortable, and it makes you move in a direction that you don't want to go in. Yan then switches to southpaw and crowds Ishihara, then throws a right hook to gauge the distance and fires the straight left. So he switches to southpaw to close the distance on Ishihara and make the gap between them smaller and get in closer. Then he throws the right hook over the top as he switches to kind of almost get a hold of Ishihara and, see where he's at so he can fire his left. So he switches to southpaw, boom, with that right hook. Now he's closer to Ishihara. He almost has his hand on like the rear delt or the shoulder of Ishihara. And then boom, he follows with that left hand. Bop. Yan throws an outside low kick 2 pity pat right hands. So he'll go outside low kick, boom, 2 right hands just to feel you out and close the distance, and then throws and lands the left hook right hand. So it's outside low kick, boom, pity pat right hands to just gauge your reaction, bop, bop, and then close the distance, and then lands a lead left hook, which is going to direct you into the power right and throws the right hand. So outside low kick, pity pat, double right hand to close the distance and get close, then a left hook over the top and a right hand as you circle away. It's just tricky stuff from Yan. He's so smart, and I know it's hard to picture these combinations and different things that Yan does without actual visual evidence. But that's why I try to break it down and talk to you guys as much as possible, just to really get it out there and show you how smart that Yan actually is with words, even though I can't use video. He saw that Ishihara was circling to his right, which was Petr Yan's left. So he switches to southpaw again from an orthodox stance and lands an overhand left beautifully, which drops Ishihara. Boom, he switches, moves forward, switches, boom, left hand over the top, drops him. Like, this is what I mean. He gets reads. He sees your patterns. He sees your defensive patterns, and he switches his game plan based on where you're going to move. So he saw Ishihara was circling to Petr Yan's left, which was Ishihara's right side. He was going to move into that, so he said, okay, I'll just switch to southpaw. So he switches to southpaw, lands the overhand left. Boom, Ishihara circles right into it and gets dropped. Continuing with this fight. This is all in the first round, by the way. As we're almost 17 minutes into this breakdown, and it's only the first round. He does so much, so let's keep this going. Yan pressures Ishihara against the fence in a clinch position as he gets back up to his feet. So as Ishihara gets back up after that combination we just covered, he pressures Ishihara against the fence in a clinch position, and then he lands a right spinning back fist. He did this because he knew that Ishihara was going to try to circle off the fence to his left, which would be like the weak side of Yan. Because, you want to circle off to the weak side. You don't want to circle into the power. But Yan's so smart, he just decided to switch his stance and land a right spinning back fist as Ishihara was circling away. Ishihara is hurt after that back fist, and he's just immediately on the back pedal. This is what Yan wants. He's going to push him forward. So he pushes forward, moves into Ishihara, and he throws a wide left hook. And he sees that Ishihara is going to circle that way. Or wait, hold on. Ishihara is hurt. Yan throws a wide left hook as he feels Ishihara circling that way. Not a real clinch, but close enough. So it was close. They weren't in an actual clinch in this one exchange we're about to talk about, but they were close enough to be almost in a clinch. They were just really close to each other. Like I said, Yan likes to get in real close and pressure you and just make you feel uncomfortable. So Ishihara is on the back pedal. Yan throws a wide left hook, which is going to make Ishihara kind of pressure into him or either pull away. In this case, he pressured into him. And as he circles away, he throws another left hook. Boom, as he circles out of the clinch and gets caught. After that left hook, he follows up with a right hand straight right down the center. So he throws that left hook over the top. Boom, as Ishihara circles away, he circles into the left hook. Now he's going to move a little bit forward. Boom, straight right hand right down the middle. Drops Ishihara and gets the first round TKO. This was his first fight in the UFC. I believe the current featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, has defeated Teruto Ishihara. I could be wrong, but I believe that he had a fight with him at 145 pounds and defeated him, and that might have been his debut. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but look into that because I believe I'm right. And this was actually the first guy to ever knock out Teruto Ishihara. So it goes to show you how good Yan's striking is and also just show you just how good he is as a fighter in general. Okay, let's see. The next fight is against Jin So-soon, which was on September 15th, 2018. So Yan opens up with a fake slap hook into a lead left body kick. I've talked about same side attacks a lot on this podcast. Whether it's a right hand into a right high kick, a left hand into a left high kick, switching stances a bunch of times. It's just really smart stuff from a guy like Yan here. And being able to attack on the same side is very important in mixed martial arts. So Yan opens up with a fake slap left hook, which is really just to think that you're going to try to direct them into the power hand, but then he throws the lead left body kick right after it. So he goes left hook and then throws the body kick on the same side. So it's coming from the same side. That left slap hook is actually blinding you from seeing the kick come on that same side, which is why the same side attacks work so well. If I throw a right hand, you're going to try to slip out to the outside of the right hand. And then if I follow up with a right high kick, you're going to get caught right on the button because you're slipping to a place that you think is safe when it's really not. In this case, he threw that fake slap left hook into a lead left body kick. So it's head, body right on the same side. Ba-ba. And a lot of times Yan doesn't throw a left hook. It's more, like I said, a slap. He's just doing that to get you to react, and then he's throwing something else off of it. This was one of the first times we saw Yan use the lead stiff arm frame defense as he backs away from Jin So-soon's forward pressure. You know, So-soon was trying to pressure him so much in this fight and just push him back, but Yan's the pressure fighter. So it wasn't that comfortable for him, but he adjusted to it. And one of the things he did was, like I said, use that lead stiff arm frame defense. I call it a stiff arm. It could be known as a frame. But you know, I wrote down a few things here. So as So-soon moves forward, he just takes that left hand and sticks it out to manage and measure the distance as So-soon moves forward and keep him at arm's reach so he can fire his punches with full extension. Yan switches to southpaw and throws the left hand to close the distance and gets the right underhook in the clinch. So he switches to southpaw from an orthodox stance, throws the left hand to close the distance, getting closer, and then get the right underhook and get into a clinch position and break away. So a lot of the times when he switches stances, he uses what we like to call, or what's called, a quick sit. So if I'm in an orthodox stance, which would be left foot in front, right foot in back, I'm going to throw that right hand and I'm going to switch my feet, and now my right hand's in front, but I'm going to almost come in at a side angle where my hip is coming forward. So I'm not moving forward with my knee towards you. I'm moving forward more with my hip towards you. So I move forward and then I stop there and then I try to push into you. So I'm crowding you. I'm closing the distance, but it's harder for you to throw attacks and then I get away. So I can get into range, then close the distance, then push you back so that you can't throw an attack in between when I throw and you try to counter off of it. Yan goes jab, lead hook, then jab, right hand, and quick sets into southpaw and then goes back to orthodox. So jab, lead hook. I said same side. So you're usually going to slip the jab to the outside. So jab with that lead left hand, left hook, boom. And then he goes jab. So jab, lead hook, jab, right hand, switches to southpaw, and then goes back to orthodox. So as he throws that power, he comes in to cut you off, stop you, and then he goes back to orthodox. He's figuring you out. He's stopping your attacks. He's making you freeze. He just does all these things, and it makes him just so good and so underappreciated as a striker. I don't think he is now, but based on his last performance. But before that, I don't really think a lot of people gave Yan the appreciation that he deserves. Yan throws a lead hook to an overhand right, then steps into southpaw with that overhand right. Like I said, he's always moving. He's switching stances. And, you know, switching stances, I've talked about them a lot, and obviously we're going to have this a lot in this podcast. But when I throw a right hand and I switch to southpaw, I'm cutting off your exits. And the same with the quick set. Like I said, the quick set when he switches to southpaw, I'm cutting off your exit because you're going to want to move to the opposite side. If I throw a right hand, you're either going to slip underneath it and go to the outside, or you're going to move away from it, which would be moving to the left. So if I go right hand and then I quick set, when you go to move to the left, I can cut you off with a clinch. I can cut you off with a left hook, which is going to have power since I'm in southpaw. That's mainly why the quick sit is used. Let's see. Like I said, the quick set is done to stop the opponent from circling away in one direction. It cuts them off, so they have to move in the opposite direction of what they want to move in, which in Yan's case would have been into the power left body kick since he switched to southpaw. Let's see. Yan throws the overhand right, which moves Sun towards Yan's left. Then he throws a jab with the left hand, steps to his right slightly, which is outside of Sun's lead left foot, to get the angle, and then throw the right hand. I got to break this down a little bit more because the way I wrote it, it's a little confusing. So Yan throws the overhand right. Boom. Which moves Sun towards Yan's left. Then he throws a jab and steps to his right. So right overhand. Boom. It's going to move you to the left. Now Yan's going to throw that jab to move you back to the right. So right overhand, jab. He steps to the right slightly, which is outside of the lead left foot of Jin So Soon, just to get the angle and then throw the left hand. Or throw the right hand, I'm sorry. So again, overhand right, boom. Moves Sun towards the left, jab. Then he steps to his right slightly outside the lead foot of Jin So Soon, who's a southpaw, and then just boom, lands the right hand. That's a little bit hard to break down. I watched these fights a couple days ago, this one in particular. So I can't remember this exchange exactly. So if I mess that up, I'm sorry. But I think that's what I was writing down here. Yan constantly fakes with the lead hand just to freeze his opponents. Then as Sun steps forward, he stiff arm frames. So he's faking with that lead hand, just getting a reaction out of you to see how you're going to defend, how you're going to move, how you're going to slip. And then as Sun steps forward, he just stiff arms, keeps you away, and keeps you at a distance. So you never really can close the distance on Yan. It's very hard. And even if you do, he's so good in the clinch, it's a double-edged sword. Sun shoots for a double leg takedown, but Yan spins to throw Sun off and get back to his base. So he goes for the double leg. Yan spins with him as he hits the ground. Boom. And then he gets back up to his feet, gets back up to his base. So like I said, one thing with Yan that you'll notice about his wrestling is, he doesn't go to his wrestling all that much, but his defensive wrestling is so good that he can really open up on his feet. So he gets taken down, right? Double-legged. Yan spins immediately, bucking his hips. Spins as you try to take him down and tries to throw Sun off, but then he gets back onto his feet and his arms, and he gets back up to his base. And then he has the body lock. So now Sun has the body lock, and Yan's getting back to his base, trying to stand back up to his feet after being taken down. Sun tries to sink down to his left to break Yan's base and posture. If you're wrestling somebody and you have them in a body lock, which is where your chest is going to be on their back, their chest is, obviously in the opposite direction, and you have them controlled, you're trying to hold them, you want to break their base down. You want to sink your weight towards their weak side, which would be their left if they were orthodox, their right if they were a southpaw, which would be the lead foot. You want to sink your weight down towards the weak side and pull them down so you can get back control and take the back or get into a mount if you're in a normal takedown. But it's just to control them and to just keep sinking down, putting your weight on them, getting them tired. So he tries to sink down to his left to break Yan's base and posture. But Yan scoots back to the fence as he has his base. So his hands are on the mat, and his feet are on the ground, and he just backs up to try to push So Soon against the fence. Yan likes to work off the fence in general. That's where he does most of his best work when he's striking. So by getting here and then breaking off, after he breaks off, he's going to be able to push you against the fence. He gets back to the fence. Sun tries to pull Yan down with the body lock takedown, but Yan shakes him off, and they get into a clinch, which was formerly a body lock, and Yan just stiff arms, and they break away. Good defensive awareness on the takedowns and the grappling exchanges. He's always aware of where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to move. Yan immediately goes back under the pressure after breaking this takedown, and he quick sets into southpaw and grabs the right underhook. So he jab, cross, step into southpaw, quick set, like I said, boom, and then get that right hand underhook on the other side of the opponent and control them getting close. All right, guys, we're going to go to the second part. This might be 4 parts, guys. It's a long breakdown, but I'll see you on the second part, guys. All right, catch you later.